Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Evie. I got some stories from Jezebel.com this time that should hopefully spook you a little bit. So let's begin. Number 1. A few years ago, I asked my significant other if he had ever seen a ghost. He got really uncomfortable and squirrely, lots of hemming and hawing. Annoyed, I said, "Just say yes or no. I won't judge you if you think you've seen a ghost." I'm a skeptic and figured he didn't want to sound like a rube or something. Turns out, he was hesitant because he believes he saw one, but it was while he was deployed on a mission in the Middle East, and he was trying to think of how he could describe it without giving up any classified info. The story is this. He was in the spooky, vague Middle East when there was a commotion from the soldiers watching the perimeter. Apparently, they saw a man about 100 yards away from the camp. He had appeared out of nowhere. No one saw him walking up. The man was just standing there, not doing anything threatening. But since it was a strange man in a war zone, they broke out all the high-tech gear to see what was going on. They could see his face, his clothes, his height, but he looked bizarrely distorted and was not giving off a heat signature. They have infrared jams and whatnot. It's the freaking military, not a piddling ghost hunting troop here. He was not the temperature of a human being. He was the temperature of the air around him. They had no idea what was going on, and people were freaking out. At this point, I said some obvious stuff. Maybe it was a scarecrow or a dummy, or a shadow, or the soldiers were really tired and delirious and their eyes were playing tricks on them, or it was a hologram weapon shaped like a human. His response. They called different people up to look at the man. It wasn't just a few soldiers who saw this. Dozens of people came to look, and everyone confirmed that it was definitely a human, a person. Eventually, they decided to send out a team to check this guy out. When they got about 50 yards away, the man started walking, only it didn't look like he was walking toward or away from them, only walking in place. They froze, expecting an attack, but the man never got any closer. So he was, moonwalking. Ooh, a terrorist with dance moves. Scary. His shaky response. It looked like it was trying to walk, but instead of moving like a regular person, its bones were breaking and splintering backwards and forwards at the joints. I can't think of a better way to describe it. Its head was jerking around like a puppet. When the convoy got a few yards closer, it disappeared entirely. The team hauled ass back to camp, and as soon as they returned, the man thing reappeared in its spot. Everyone took turns watching it for an hour or so until it disappeared for good. Didn't walk away. Didn't fly or melt or explode. Just stood there for a long time, then vanished. Number 2. My mother's family lived on the second floor of a large duplex on Côte Sainte Catherine. The front doors to the second floor apartments were located on the side of the buildings and faced each other from one duplex to the other. They rarely locked the front door, and everyone knew their neighbors quite well. One morning, one of my uncles, who must have been about 13 at the time, says he woke up very early. This was summertime, and although it was kind of light out, the sun hadn't risen yet, so it was practically in the middle of the night still. He was half awake in his bed, a bit groggy, and he realized that what had woken him was the sound of someone creeping along in the corridor. For some reason, it didn't feel right to him. Didn't sound like someone from the family was going to the bathroom during the night. It was slower, much weirder. He called out, "Hey, who's there?" He then heard whoever was in the corridor walk back to the top of the stairs, down the stairs, out the front door. Creepy enough, I know, but it gets much worse. Within 6 months of this happening, a teenage girl was found dead in the duplex next door to my family's home. She had been killed during the night with a hammer by a 15-year-old boy that lived nearby. He was known by all the other kids of the neighborhood, and my mother remembers him as being very quiet and always kind of looking down or away whenever you would look at him. He was kind of an outcast, certainly because of his personality, but also a bit perhaps because he went to a posh school thanks to his father being the janitor there, and he got a bit snobbed out by the other kids. In the duplex where my family lived, on the first floor there was a family with 3 teenage girls. In my family, there were 2 teenage girls. I guess he knew where to look, and I guess he must have been lurking around for a good while before deciding that it was time to take the hammer out. He killed himself in hospital or jail while he was still very young. Number 3. I come down to the kitchen for breakfast on a Saturday morning. My mom and my sister are already up, and they look exhausted. My mom asks, "Did you sleep all right?" "Yeah," says I. "Even after you woke up?" I woke up. Sometime in the middle of the night, I had started screaming. My mom rushed into my room and found me sitting up in bed, screaming, "Roy! Roy! Roy! Roy!" She did her best to calm me down while shooing away my pissed-off sister, who had stormed in to find out what the fuck was going on with me. She asked me who Roy was, but I would only say that he was a bad man. I didn't say anything but, "Roy is a bad man." I'm shocked as they're telling me all of this, and they're surprised that I don't remember. But then again, I'm the sound sleeper of the house who can doze through lightning storms. We write it off as some weird nightmare that I don't remember. Years later, I'm off at my first year of college. My mom sends me a videotape in the mail. She didn't mention it before I left, as in, "Hey, keep your eye on the mailbox," or anything. I press play, and it's my mom taking a video camera through our house. She was moving, and sent the tape as one last walkthrough of the now empty house before she left. It was sweet and a little tear-jerking, until she said, "So, here's something you might find interesting," when she approached the closet in her bedroom. This closet, aside from being the hiding place for all of the Christmas gifts, was always packed full of old luggage and other odds and ends. You could only go 3 feet in before you would have to start climbing on things to go farther. She goes in with the camera, and I see that there are purple crayon drawings on the wall, down at the height where a small child would draw. There are random scribbles, some stick figures, something that may have been a dog. I was already puzzled, because I had no memory of ever playing in this closet, and I don't know how I would have drawn on the walls when they were, in my mind, always covered. Then the camera comes to a word on the wall, "Roy," and my mom must not have remembered that night. She said on the tape, "Roy. I wonder who Roy is." Hey guys, hope you liked the video. If you did, leave a like, comment below, and subscribe to the channel. I will have a Facebook page for my YouTube channel, EV Night, up very soon, so once I do, there will be a link below for that. But anyway guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting the channel and everything. Keep staying spooky.